couple of years ago, I made a decision never to read fiction books and just concentrate on reading non-fiction books. And I cannot explain to you how much that has been transformative in my personal life. I have gone from point B to point A. I have gone into places or talked about certain things just because of that massive change that I did to read non-fiction books. Hey, if you do not know who I am, my name is Lucia Kao. I am a serious self-help book reader that channels all the knowledge that I read from the books. I share it with you and you make a decision what you want to do with that information, okay? Let us get into this particular video. I'm going to be talking about my personal experience and I'm going to tell you the reason as to why I prefer non-fiction books to fiction books. However, every single time you see a lot of debate when it comes to fiction books and non-fiction books, a lot of people have this discussion whereby they talk about that, you know, non-fiction books are witty-washy, non-fiction books sell a dream that is not there, whereas fiction books are like the popular it girl. Every single time you see anything to do with books or anything to do with end-of-year books or monthly books, you tend to find a lot of them being fiction books. And there are not a lot of girlies or a lot of people who kind of get into the situation of talking about non-fiction books because of fear of being looked at like, oh, you think you've got all the knowledge, you think you've got everything, but that's not the thing. I want to say something here. Today, not a lot of things are going in my favor. Number one, I'm chasing, the daylight, and that is a sunset. And number two, my stand for the mic just couldn't work, so we're holding this mic today. Help me, Lord, so we can get through this together. Okay. So, a background story. When I was in my university year, that was in 2014, when I was doing my law degree, I ordered a bunch of books from W.H. Smith. Literally, I think it was buy one, get one, another free. And if you could spend £20, then you get 10 books extra, something like that. So I had a massive box of literally fiction books, every book you could ever imagine. And that time, I think Gray's, what's it called? This Gray book. Oh my God, I have to remember and just literally put it here. That one whereby it's the CEO and she's an intern and blah blah blah. They fall in love and it's very toxic, but it's not toxic, but they end up getting married. That kind of situation. 50 Shades of Grey. That's it. I was reading 50 Shades of Grey as well. I was so into these books, and they could channel me in different areas that I could never imagine to go to. These books literally tap your emotions. They keep you present with being, an empathetic person. They keep you present with being that person that channels your emotions and kind of uses your emotions and understands a lot of situations. However, this is where my take goes on this, okay? I was not benefiting or having anything valuable when I was reading fiction books. Studies say that reading is very good for your brain. Reading actually does certain things in your brain that keeps you younger, that allows you to actually live younger or stay a little bit younger. But for me personally, and I think this is a debatable thing, I find that when I read fiction books, I am in a dreamland. I cannot read about this cute guy with cute eyes, or this book about, is it unicorns or horses or something like that? Is it onyx or something? It's everywhere, literally it's everywhere. That's why I know about it. Another one is Yellowface. Honestly speaking, for me, I am not into mystical creatures. I am not someone that is very into this cute guy. I'm not a very romantic person, and everybody knows me as I'm not very romantic. Even with movies that I choose, I never make a choice of choosing romantic movies. I'd rather go for a non-romantic movie or an action-based movie. That tells a lot, because when I was reading fiction books, I felt like my brain was dying. I was living in a world that I thought those things come to life. I was very imaginative in a world that I shouldn't be imagining. I was reading things that were literally selling me a tale of things I didn't want. And I realized that that's not the journey I want to take in life. This is not where I see myself. Yes, reading is good. It's very productive. But it's not the thing that is going to get me from point A to point B. Now, this is the other part that I want to explain. Reading non-fiction books has allowed me on my own personal journey, because I saw where I wanted to go, or the journey that I wanted to take, and the things I wanted to do. And honestly speaking, it made me decide that if I want to get anywhere in my life, if I want to accomplish anything in my life, reading fiction books is not going to get me anywhere. I find that reading fiction books is like watching a Netflix series. I find that like a relaxing downtime sort of thing. And I think in the era that I'm in, the age that I'm in, I think relaxing and downtime is not yet that time that I want to explore. And I'll explain why. Okay, so for me, I found that was just not something that I wanted. So Making a decision to read nonfiction books allowed me to actually accomplish so many things in my life that I never knew I wanted to accomplish. It made me understand so many things in life that I didn't know I needed to know. My school time, my education time did not teach me so many things, but I can tell you this, that these books that I've been reading have taught me so much about so many things. A lot of people say that when it comes to self-help books, they are very it's a big industry. You know, they sell you things and they sell you stuff that are going to help you, or they sell you a problem and say they're going to solve a problem. But that's what life is. Life is all about problems, and life is all about solving those problems. Some solutions are not for you and some solutions are for you, and that is absolutely okay. So what I'm trying to get to is, number one, this is a massive change that I saw when I started reading non-fiction books. I started changing my perspective in how I see things and how I think. The first book I ever read in the non-fiction or the self-help development books was The 4-Hour Workweek. Now that book is a massive book. It put me off, but it changed me so much. I started to run, I started to exercise, I started understanding the value of getting the valuable things that you have to do in life within the first quarter of your time, and not spending so much time doing so many things that are irrelevant, that will not add value on your end goal. So that was a very, very massive change. Number two, I was able to understand myself and understand my productivity levels. Okay, so when it comes to productivity, it's a whole big debate, and one of the things that people use as an argument is like, so many self-help books tell you that you need to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you need to hit the gym, you need to eat healthy, you need to do all those kind of things. Let me tell you what those things do. Those things allow you to perform better in the bigger goals that you want to accomplish, in the other things that you want to accomplish, okay? But hear me out. When it comes to productivity, and this is where it comes that if you read a lot of self-help books, you're going to get to a point whereby you understand. You pick up the information that you want to pick up, and you will understand in a way that I'm going to explain, okay? When I read, first of all, the 5 a.m. morning, I think, book, 5 a.m. Club, I'll put it here. That book, I don't like it. I personally don't like it because it's kind of like, it's basic, but let me tell you what it kind of taught me. It taught me that I need to read other books that will help me. It allowed me to read other productivity books like Atomic Habits, and it allowed me to channel and understand when I'm more productive. A lot of you guys who are watching here, probably you don't understand when you are more productive and when you're less productive. You think that you're going to be productive for the morning until the night. It does not happen. Some people are more productive in the morning, some people are more productive in the evening, some people are more productive, midnight or in the afternoon. Everybody has different productivity levels, but if you understand them, then you can perform better. That is where certain books come in. I was able to understand things like my melatonin, my REM, my serotonin, and what I'm saying is not that you cannot find this information online. You can Google this information and you can find it. But reading those books, it made me understand myself. It made me understand kind of things to do with my body type. It made me understand how my productivity is, because I am more productive in the morning and I'm less productive in the night. And I'm a morning person. I'm not an evening person. So I tend to sleep early, but I tend to wake up early as I'm more productive. I have friends that tend to sleep late and they are more productive at 12 or in the afternoon. That's literally them, and that's how they function better. And also a study has shown that most children in their teenagers are more productive in the afternoon than they are in the mornings. That is when they are kind of awake and they are able to perform better. So there is a little bit of a debate when it comes to that. The third one, why I tend to read non-fiction books, it's only because that it allows me to actually take things into action. When I read books about romance, when I read books about fairy tales or stories or people's journeys, yes, it's beautiful, yes, it's nice, but it's not actionable. It's information that sits there. It's not actionable. I want something that challenges me. I want something that actually pushes my oomph, like allows me to challenge myself, and I'm up for challenges. I am someone who will not say no to a challenge. I am ready for it. You tell me you're going to run a 10K marathon, I'll run for it. I'll practice for it. If I'm going to fall down, then so be it, but I will do that. I love challenges. So for me, reading non-fiction books challenged me and allowed me to become this kind of person. A lot of people say to me, Lucy, you're very disciplined. I am a disciplined person. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. When I say I will not do something, I will not do it. I don't commit to something unless I know I'm going to be fully committed or put my whole heart into it. Okay, that is my kind of thing that I am, or stuff like that. So for me, it allowed me to become more disciplined. They allowed me to actually stick to doing the things that I have to do, because I understood that motivation is not only enough. Motivation, consistency, and discipline work hand in hand, and if you put those three together as a cocktail, you are able to succeed in life and you're able to become successful. The 1% of people are not reading non-fiction books. The 1% of people are not reading fiction books. They're reading non-fiction books. Studies have showed that men read more non-fiction books, women read more fiction books. And that allows you to understand that there is also another study that say that when a woman walks into a room, she tends to undersell herself. When a man walks into a room, he tends to oversell himself, because we underlook our abilities and the things that we can sell. And it comes down to the things we allow our brain to consume, the things we think that we have to be. And sometimes it's conditioned, it's a conditioned thing. And that's okay. What I'm trying to say here is that reading those books has actually allowed me to negotiate better, understand friends better. The book How to Win and Influence People, it made me understand that the other person that you're trying to negotiate with is more important than you who is trying to get the deal done. And without reading the books, I would not have understood that. Fiction books did nothing for my brain. I felt like my brain was dying over and over and over again. And I was just like, I'm so sick of being in this slump. I'm living in a romance of a guy who's going to take me off my feet. It has to be this kind of build. He has to be this type of person. I'm like, no, Lucy, you're trying to build an empire, you're trying to build a business, you're trying to be successful, you're trying to be part of the 1%, and that is debatable. I'm not talking about the 1%, we're talking about Elon Musk and whatever it is. No, Jeff Bezos. No, we're trying to talk about the 1% of women that actually win in life, the 1% of women that actually get the it in life. That is what I'm trying to talk about. So non-fiction books are not too bad, and I think I put here on my notes what I would actually be saying about that. They're not too bad, but they were just not for me. If you want to grow faster, self-help books, personal growth books are very good. You're going to find a book that will suit you better. If you want to have a competitive edge, self-help books, personal development books are the ones for you. But if that's not your jam, if you're just a girl in summer, enjoying your lovely fruits, having a lovely picnic and reading, a book of a romance of a guy. I keep saying romance because that's where I'm channeling, but I know fiction books are not only romance. They can be, different channels, but I'm just talking about that. If that's your jam, then go for it. If you're not that type of person, then you're absolutely welcome here, okay? An escapism than a reality check. Fiction books are taking you to a different land. It's like watching a Netflix, like I explained. It's like me watching a show on Netflix. What am I currently watching? Richer. Yeah, it's like it takes you to a different world, but those things don't exist in the real world. What exists in the real world is actually how to create micro habits, how your micro habits matter, how your eating, your sleep, your environment, the things you consume, what you do affect you as a person. That is what is more important. So those are the reasons as why I personally don't read fiction books. I only consider non-fiction books, especially self-development, personal growth type of books. Let me know which kind of side you're swinging at. Is it both ways? Do you read both? Do you read one or the other? Let's talk about it down in the comments. But let's end this video here and say thank you so much for watching. If you want more of this, let me know. But until next time, my name remains Lucy Akawa. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, because I know you have done that. You have literally done that, okay, as you watch this. Bye.